The scene begins with a brief flashback to Malby meeting Trenton for the first time in a coffee shop, albeit awkwardly. Both of them seem to be computer files. Malby initiates the conversation and keeps fumbling, and they eventually bond over the Apple and Android debate. They also end up comparing phone speeds, and in the midst of it all, Trenton does a bunch of coding without Malby's knowing. A few moments later, Darlene arrives and talks about dropping the proverbial soap and bringing them together. Elliot appears to be unable to attend the meeting, so Darlene brings them a message from Elliot about E-Corp and its shadowy businessmen who run the world from behind the curtains. Back at the present, the members of the F Society, including Cisco, are at E-Corp General Counsel Susan's smart home, which they are using as their home base. They hack the conference call between the FBI and the Department of Justice and listen to their conversation regarding Operation Berenstain. Upon doing so, they find out that there is illegal surveillance of millions of Americans, as well as the fact that they have 16 specific people under their focus, one of whom is dead, Romero. Following this, Darlene dons the mask to bring another unfettered message to the public in the hopes of causing more unrest for the revolution. Just after posting the video online, Susan reappears at her smart house and notices F Society with all their setups. Left with no other choice, they zip-tie her by the pool. While she is restrained, she repeatedly asks to use the restroom. As per Darlene's instruction, Trenton is about to help Susan in using the restroom when Susan accuses her of being a member of ISIS, and that Muslims are all a bunch of animals. As a result, one slip sends Susan's skull cracking into the wall, complicating matters even more. Susan is bleeding and requires medical attention, so F Society must think of something quickly. The rest of the team looks for information to blackmail her, but Darlene has a different plan. While Susan is unconscious, members of the F Society delve into her life in search of her deepest and darkest secrets in order to own her. Afterwards, Darlene goes to talk to Susan and reminds her of the past, when Evil Corp was found not guilty of any wrongdoing in connection with the toxic waste leak that killed her father, and how Darlene saw Susan laughing in the courtroom despite being aware of all this. Darlene claims she was only 4 years old at the time, but she recalls it vividly. As a result, she does not hesitate to kill Susan by exploiting her heart condition and zapping her heart with a stun gun before abandoning her in the swimming pool to die. She then lies to the rest of the group, claiming self-defense, but Mobley and Trenton immediately know that they are in the presence of a murderer. Susan's assassination causes a schism within F Society. Darlene sends Trenton and Mobley away while she and Cisco decide to wipe up the apartment and dispose of the body, but this time it is effectively an act of disintegration. They watch nervously as cops patrol the train while they carry Susan's body in a duffel bag. They burn the body at the dog kennel where they used to burn the paper trail of F Society in the past. For privacy, they pay the kennel guy twice the amount from Susan's bank account. Darlene has forfeited all trust within the group by putting them in this situation. Mobley and Trenton are already plotting their escape, and Cisco, despite his relationship with Darlene, appears to have his own plans. Paranoia is getting to both Mobley and Trenton, and they worry people are watching them and are planning to kill them. When Mobley arrives outside his apartment, he has a pizza delivery man deliver his food into the apartment to see if anyone is waiting for them. Meanwhile, Trenton is nervously watching a car speed away from her parents' place. In the next scene, we see Malby is taken by the FBI for questioning. DiPiero questions Mobley not because of his high-level involvement in F Society, but because of an end-of-the-world party poster discovered in Romero's apartment, which revealed his hacker identity. DiPiero also informs him that they are looking for Tyrell Wellick, and that more information is required. However, Malby refuses to reveal anything and demands his attorney. When DiPiero Sr. learns of Malby's arrest without a warrant, he immediately summons DiPiero and tells her to release him because the FBI cannot justify holding a suspect without a warrant for 12 hours. Her senior also expresses that DiPiero is not implementing the plan well, and also claims that they are unwilling to take any further risks because their conference call has already been leaked. In addition, he points out the consequences, stating that the deputy director, assistant director of the cyber division, and the EAD have all been fired as a result of it. After this, DiPiero has no choice but to let Malby go. As soon as Malby walks out, he takes this as a sign to jump ship, contacting Trenton to arrange a rendezvous so they can escape for good. In the meantime, Darlene spends the night at Cisco's place, and when she wakes up the next morning, she is suspicious of Cisco, who is currently in the shower. Shortly after, she discovers messages from his Chinese contacts in his laptop and learns that Cisco has let them know that Darlene is with him. Sensing the betrayal, she destroys the laptop, and as soon as he steps out of the shower, she knocks Cisco out with a baseball bat. Parallelly, Trenton is at a coffee shop, looking at the door, waiting for Malby to arrive. The next scene features a flashback when Elliot is arrested by the FBI for unauthorized use of a computer, among other charges, and is taken into custody. The authorities seize his computers, all the hard drives, and other suspicious items as they process him. In the station, after all the formalities, Elliot's lawyer tries to reduce his imprisonment period by asking him to plead not guilty in front of the judge. However, Elliot does not try to get out of it, so he pleads guilty instead. During this, Mr. Robot appears and yells at Elliot not to do so, but Elliot completely ignores him. As a result, the court declares Elliot to be guilty of computer hacking, computer trespass, and fourth-degree grand larceny, and sentences him to 18 months in county jail. It is revealed that Krista's ex-boyfriend, Michael, got him into all of this trouble. Following this, Elliot is sent to the prison, where Ray works as a prison warden and Lone Star as one of the police officers. He also meets with Leon, one of the prisoners, who initiates him to the way of life and tells him about the prison. Here, it is revealed that Elliot was in prison the entire time when he met Ray, Lone Star, and Leon. After 18 months, Elliot is released from prison and Darlene, who is waiting for him outside, embraces him. She informs him that she is concerned because both Malby and Trenton are nowhere to be found. On the way back home, they pay a visit to their mother in a nursing home to thank her for assisting him in surviving in the jail. It appears that her memory is one of the few soothing entities in his mind. On the other hand, Angela is frustrated that her risk management position does not grant her access to E-Corp's incriminating information, so she decides to take a play out of the F Society handbook and hack the information herself. After concocting an excuse to distract Secretary Monica, she sneaks into her boss's cabin and transfers the contents of his computer onto a thumb drive. Later, she promptly finds her smoking gun and takes it to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, where it is validated. After waiting all day, Angela is startled when Deputy Director Phelps leads her down a long corridor and begins asking nosy questions, prompting her to walk away. Meanwhile, White Rose is at the cemetery, visiting the grave of a former E-Corp CEO. White Rose disrespectfully relieves herself on his grave. It is revealed that he was the one who murdered him, and he now assumes that he may have to do the same to Philip. Elliot believes he has regained control of his mental state, and he discovers that he is much worse outside of the hallucination he created in the prison. He is beginning to disassociate himself from Mr. Robot, and is frequently stuck watching him perform actions from the outside. Elliot is enjoying some alone time in the bathroom of Cisco's apartment when he hears Darlene and Cisco arguing, only to be silenced by Mr. Robot's voice. Hearing this, Elliot comes out from the restroom only to discover Mr. Robot lecturing them on the next stage of the plan. The surreality only increases from there, as Elliot's whole existence literally flickers before his eyes, like there's a faulty connection in his head. As part of their next plan, Elliot hacks White Rose's man named Zun, and he also forces Cisco to arrange a meeting so he can figure out their intentions and learn more about the mysterious Stage 2 plan. When Elliot is face to face with Zun, Elliot spooks them in order to get Zun talking on his hacked phone. He happens to be right, just not in the way he intended. While Darlene is listening in on Zun's call, she discovers that Elliot is the one behind Stage 2. The other day at the cemetery, White Rose tries to threaten Philip into saving his plant from the clutches of the federal government. Despite this, Philip does not seem to be scared of the veiled death threats, so he demands a large sum of money to save White Rose's plant. The two of them are at odds because the bailout money was metaphorically flushed. Before departing, Philip makes it clear that he would rather see White Rose lose than himself win. Back at F Society, Darlene summons Cisco for a private conversation and informs him that she must have left the F Society VHS tape with her face on it back at Susan's smart house. Cisco then agrees to go back and look for it. On the other hand, Di Piro shows up at Angela's door for an impromptu chat. Dom talks about her unusual dream, which appears to be violent. She then explains to her that Ollie told her about the CD at All Safe, and that she has been tracking Angela ever since. For now, Di Piro is unable to put all of the puzzle pieces together, but she claims that someone will eventually connect the dots, and they will catch up to Angela. She also states unequivocally that the next person will not treat Angela as she is being treated now. Instead, they will grab her from the streets and throw her up in a dark cell. Over Zun's phone tap, Darlene finds out that Elliot is the true originator of Stage 2. It appears that the Dark Army is aware of Elliot's problems, and they also claim that Elliot is the master. Here, it is not clear that they are talking about Mr. Robot or Elliot here, and it's also unclear whether Mr. Robot has been working with the Dark Army without Elliot's knowledge. Simultaneously, at the smart house, Cisco stumbles onto something else while looking for the VHS tape. In the meantime, Elliot is walking back to his apartment when he notices Tyrell's car parked in front of his apartment. As he approaches the car, he is greeted by Joanna, who says, "Hello, Ollie." Subscribe and hit that like button to help our channel grow. Turn the notifications on so you won't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching.